How bad is this card? Is it unplayably terrible? Is it maybe okay? Is it actually really good? Really interesting design. Welcome in, much love, Trav here. And one of my favorite things about the new set is evaluating new cards, predicting, and seeing how those predictions actually turn out. And I think it's a fun, healthy thing to do as well. I was just hearing that around the time of 20, your brain has peak mass. You're not necessarily getting dumber after 20, but you start to lose mass in the brain. And it's not to say you can't grow new brain cells, but a couple of the ways to maintain brain mass is exercise and also just deep strategic thinking. So shout out to the Magic players. You're doing at least one thing right. A lot of people aren't using their brains the way that we are. So props to you. Give yourself a pat on the back for that. Okay, Old Growth Dryads. How good is this card? Is it shit? Is it good? It costs only a green, and you get a 3/3. And the drawback is each opponent gets to search for a basic land, put it in the battlefield tapped, and shuffle his or her library. So it's kind of like a Path to Exile. For Path to Exile, you spend a white, you take out their best creature, and they get a land. For this one, you spend a green, you get a 3/3, and they get a land. So if you guys remember when Path to Exile came out, it wasn't actually that obvious how good it would be. It was like, this is kind of a steep drawback, but not a lot of people were like, this is like almost literally Swords to Plowshares, and it's going to be a 4-of staple in a lot of modern decks and standard, right? So Path to Exile exceeded expectations, and this one may as well. Walking Ballista compared to Hangerback Walker was another sleeper, right? Both of them were sleepers. Is Old Growth Dryad a sleeper? I don't know. This one, so one of the issues is the drawback of this effect is much worse on turn 1. So generally with Path to Exile, you don't want to path them on turn 1. You want to path them later in the game, ideally. And yeah, it only costs 1 mana, but it lets you do 2 or even 3 things in a turn later on. Like in the mid-game, turn 4 or 5, you spend a white, take out the biggest thing, deploy another threat. At that point, their hand's already starting to run low and they can't necessarily use the mana. The issue with this card is it plays best on turn 1. If you're playing a green for your 3/3 is best on turn 1, not on turn 4 or 5 like you would with Path. So the drawback, they're going to have a full hand and they're going to be ramped and you're on the draw. They play whatever, you play this on turn 1. Turn 2, they're going to 3 lands when you're on 1 land. I don't like that position. That seems fucking bad to me. Especially because they can just play a 4/4 or something for 3 mana, because that's how big creatures are these days. Or even if you're on the play, you play this turn 1, they ramp, and they're on 2 lands on the second turn, you kind of ceded the play to them. I'm not a huge fan of that. That seems like a pretty fucking steep drawback, and the big issue is the timing of it. And then you have something like Commander where you ramp everyone. Not really a huge fan of that either. It's probably less bad in Commander because you can kind of play the sleeper game where, no, if you play this turn 1, people aren't really attacking you because you hook everyone else up. But the problem is just a little dinky ass 3/3, and one of those assholes might infinite combo off and kill all of you. So, not really a fan of that there. It just seems bad to me. Yeah, you can do the path thing where you play it on turn 4 or 5 and have a double spell turn and ramp them, but it just seems too bad. Now, however, where could it be good? Because cards are contextual. There's certain situations where cards are good, certain situations where cards are bad. So in what situation would this be good? Against a deck with tons of 2/2s, it could be quite good. Against a deck with no top end at all, that's expecting you to be very small, play very small, this could be good. So yeah, maybe it would be a sideboard card in like a ramp deck versus a pirates deck or something like that. So I wouldn't write it off entirely. It does look like it sucks in most situations, but maybe there's some games where you would want this. I don't think so. I think it's fucking terrible. But I'm ready to eat my words. I will blend one of these up and drink it if this top 8's the Pro Tour, the next Pro Tour in a main deck. So come back and hold me to it, and that'll make some good content. So much love. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if there's a card that you like that's catching your eye, you want to know what I think about it, want me to do a review, then leave a comment on what that card is down below, and I will check it out. So I'll look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments. Peace out. Much love.